Welcome to MojoPlays. Today, we're looking at the best content that was cut from popular games before release. How do we know it's the best? Well, just listen to these examples and dream about how awesome they could have been. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Teaming up with Luigi, Super Mario 64. It's really hard to complain about Mario 64 when it's undoubtedly one of the best games ever made and holds a special spot in the hearts of older gamers. But did you know that Luigi was originally a playable character in a multiplayer mode that, crushingly, had to be cut before the game's release because of memory limitations? Could you imagine how much more popular this game could have been with multiplayer, seeing as this was the height of couch co-op with titles like GoldenEye and Mario Kart 64? Oh well, at least we got to play as the underappreciated brother in the handheld port Super Mario 64 DS. Still, it doesn't hurt to dream about what could have been. Upper Cathedral Ward, Dark Souls Remastered. You'd probably think we were crazy if we told you that you could see an early build of the Upper Cathedral Ward from Bloodborne inside Dark Souls Remastered, but you'd have to use Grand Theft Auto 5 to access it. Well, we're not crazy, and it is possible. A modder by the name of Dropoff is the one who spotted an odd line of code in Dark Souls Remastered and exported it to a 3D software program that allowed him to open it using GTA 5. Sounds complex, right? But have no fear, there's a video of the whole thing. So just sit back, relax, and watch Trevor Phillips explore an early version of the Upper Cathedral Ward because why not? The Windhelm Pit, The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. If arrested in the city of Windhelm for such crimes as thieving or killing, you'll end up spending time in jail to serve out your punishment. But there's an unused cell from within Skyrim's code that suggests there was much more to this particular jail than what we encountered in the game. Thanks to modders, it's clear that the jail in Windhelm once included a fighting pit. And based on lines of dialogue from the jailer in Windhelm, it suggested that criminals could earn their freedom back by partaking in gladiatorial-like fights in front of an audience of spectators. It's really too bad this pit didn't make it into the final cut of the game, because who doesn't want to play as a gladiator with dragon shouts? Bonds, Many James Bonds, GoldenEye 007. Late-night multiplayer sessions with GoldenEye are a lot of gamers' favorite memories from the 90s. Just throw proximity mines everywhere, sit back, and laugh as your friends blow up every 2 minutes. But these sessions could have been even better with more characters, especially allowing us to play as different James Bonds from the series' long history. And that's exactly what almost happened too, as early builds allowed players to choose from an additional 3 Bonds: Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and Timothy Dalton. What could have been serious Bond-on-Bond action, however, was removed before release, but thankfully, it still exists in the code for modders to have fun with. Did Rare not have the right to the actors' likenesses, or did they just not have the space to include them all? Probably the former, we think, as we can imagine Sean Connery coming with a hefty price tag. Lost Ending, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
They knew what I had to do here, that it would spell their downfall.
Soul Reaver was a major step for the Legacy of Kain series after Blood Omen, but its ending left a lot to be desired, wrapping up on a cliffhanger and feeling slightly unfinished.
Though you have destroyed every creature that might call you kin, the world is born anew.
But that wasn't how it was originally set to end, as both time constraints and the desire for sequels changed Crystal Dynamics' plan. Thanks to unused audio clips from the game, we know that in the original ending, Raziel succeeded in killing all the vampires and completing his mission. Despite being a more thorough ending, this probably would have cancelled out the sequels Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance, so we're quite happy that the game decided to end the way it did. By the way, when can we get these games remastered on current gen? Seriously.
You have done well, my servant.
Kamek the Magic Koopa, Mario Kart 64. Out of the original 8 characters in Mario Kart 64, one classic karter almost didn't make it into the final game. You might be thinking it was Wario, or maybe Toad, but it was actually Donkey Kong, whose place was originally given to Kamek the Magic Koopa. Kamek the... what a hoopa? Well, okay, he's a powerful wizard who served as an advisor to Bowser and had made his Nintendo debut a year earlier in Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Devs must have wanted to include more villains on the roster, and Kamek was fresh in their memory. Many years later, however, we can all breathe a heavy sigh of relief knowing that Nintendo ultimately went with a fan-favorite Donkey Kong. So many cuts! Fallout New Vegas.
Don't mention it. I'm always ready to lend a helping hand to a stranger in need.
To say there were a lot of cuts in Fallout New Vegas is an understatement. The game itself had a pretty short development cycle for such a big game, so this could help explain why so many ideas ended up on the cutting room floor, so to speak. Hidden within the game files are a host of unused materials, such as in-game perks, enemies, items, maps, notes, dialogue, and even downloadable content.
But if you really want to help us, talk to the idiot with sunglasses in the back of the plant building.
Lots of quests were cut too, some with interesting titles like Jailhouse Rock and Viva Las Vegas. While time may have been a factor, Obsidian also said that if the game had been a PC exclusive, they could have fit in much more of the cut content. But seeing as they had to focus on home consoles too, the limitations of these devices probably led to the cuts. The last mission, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain.
They left him alive on purpose.
Yeah, they're calling us out. They want to settle this.
The fifth Metal Gear Solid was a masterpiece in open-world gameplay, but it was quite apparent toward the end of the game that something just seemed to be missing. What could it have been? Oh, right, the ending.
And to do that, first, I will kill you!
Despite how awesome the game played, and how stealthy we felt as Big Boss, the story was a big letdown. It seemed incomplete, and with all the bad blood revealed between Hideo Kojima and Konami during the game's development, it's been speculated the game is indeed incomplete. And what with the whole second chapter feeling unfinished and what appears to be the final mission, or at least a mission that could have shone some serious clarity on the story's events, cut completely, it's hard not to feel this way no matter what Konami says to the contrary. Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.